Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com, and this is a dope deck for 2019 called the 2019 Burton Deepthinker Wide. This is a wide board for all-mountain riding. Now, Burton puts it in the all-mountain sector, but it sits a little bit more on the free ride sector side than it does the freestyle side. It's for intermediate to advanced level riders with size 11 feet and larger. If you want to dig down into carves without any worry of toe and heel drag, the wide version of the Deepthinker is going to be a really good choice. It's a directional board. As you see, the stance is set back, the nose is quite a bit longer, the tail is shorter, and it has a 7mm taper to it. Now with this is going to be a directional camber profile shape. So it's actually a quick edge to edge. It has a lot of stability while you're on groomers, but the nose has a great amount of float. That camber section kind of starts in front of the front insert pack or channel, and then extends all the way to the tail's contact point. Now that tail's contact point is going to be, a little bit closer to that back binding than most boards, of course. The tail is shorter, but this whole section here is going to be camber. It flicks fast, edge to edge. It has loads of pop, and that pop is going to be a little bit closer, again, to that back foot, but it's going to explode really well. When you compress it, it accelerates. It's actually really nice. And then outside of that front insert pack to the tip is a gradual style rise. It gradually rocks up to the raised up contact points and then kind of angles and then goes to a flat styled nose. Now, of course, with the length of the nose, it's going to float just a little bit better in deeper snow. And of course, it's wide. It's going to float better than a regular width board. But surprisingly enough, despite the length of the nose, it's not too long and it doesn't get floppy when you're hauling down the hill. The feel and flex rating of the Deepthinker Wide is going to be about a 6, a little bit stiffer than your average board. It's fairly sturdy, and that's because of that Superfly 2 dual zone EGD wood core. Cool part about that wood core, it's been kind of milled out to be thicker in the medial and lateral sections where the bindings rest for better energy transfer right to your edge. And then underneath where your bindings rest on that 360 wrap steel edge is frostbite, protruding edges that actually grip on really hard snow. But a cool part about frostbite too is like it doesn't like force you into a turn, and it's not difficult to get out of a turn. Sometimes with some edge technology, if you really grip into a turn, it's kind of hard to get out of it. That's not the case with frostbite. Another thing that kind of gives it its sturdiness is 45-degree carbon highlights. It's kind of a combination of 60-degree fiberglass and then 45 and negative 45-degree carbon fiber. It kind of gives it a rich kind of style feel. There's, again, lots of energy combined with that camber section in the back area. This is a pretty dang explosive board despite it being a 6 on the flex rating. You can still turn this thing. It's not too stiff. The base, of course, is centered. This is a centered WFO wide effing open base. It's one of Burton's most high-end bases. It absorbs lots of wax, keep it waxed up throughout the season. The graphic, of course, absolutely rules. Kind of looks like an early 90s style graphic, of course. There's a stomp pad, which is really great. I haven't seen any of these wear out, but I suppose, after a long period of time, this may start to wear out. It's kind of a softer EVA. Almost feels like something that you find underneath a binding or in a binding's footbed. And it, of course, features the channel system and a 3-year warranty. These ones are made in Austria, which is actually really great, not in China. You can pretty much mount any binding nowadays on the channel system. Most binding manufacturers have channel-compatible discs. But if you want to match up a binding with this perfectly, of course, get Burton bindings. You could get the EST option or the Reflex option. The question is, what binding would you put on a Deepthinker Wide? I'd probably put a cartel, but there's a lot of options. If you want to make it feel a little softer, hell, get the Missions, get the Malavitas, get the Gen X's. If you want it super stiff, get the X-Base. But overall, this is a really dope deck that does it all really well. It's an all-mountain board that sits a little bit more on that free ride side. Of course, you can check this thing out at thehouse.com by selecting the link below in the description. Feel free to leave a comment or question. Let me know what you think of this thing here. Subscribe to the channel there. Check out more vids there. And hopefully, I'll see you on snow. Peace.